My family ditched me for Thanksgiving, posing at my mom's Oregon table I refinished. I'm Nora, staring at 7 empty place settings in my home. What I uncovered next changed everything. Where are you watching, and what time is it? Share below. My hands move on autopilot, opening my photo gallery. 7 years of Thanksgiving scroll past. Last year, Silas's boys sprawled on my floor, wrapping paper everywhere. Amelia announcing her new contract over dessert. Mom and Dad slow dancing by the fireplace after everyone else had gone to bed. The phone slips from my fingers onto the couch. My feet carry me upstairs to the attic, each step heavier than the last. The boxes labeled holiday decor, in my careful handwriting, sit exactly where they always do, except they're empty. Not just the tablecloth, the vintage candlesticks, the punch bowl, the special serving platters, all borrowed, none returned. My thumb hovers over Mom's contact photo. The call connects, rings once, twice, straight to voicemail. I try again. Voicemail. A third time, the same artificial chirp of her automated greeting. The tears come, slowly at first, then in a rush that burns my cheeks. My reflection in the attic window shows a woman I barely recognize, mascara tracking down her face. But something else catches in my throat, rises in my chest. A laugh, sharp and unexpected. 7 years of Thanksgiving dinners. 7 years of making sure everyone's favorite dishes appeared on the table. 7 years of remembering that Silas's oldest is allergic to peanuts. That Amelia needs vegan options. That Dad's cholesterol means watching the butter. 7 years of being the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who makes everything perfect. I stand up straight, my reflection sharpening in the window. The Thanksgiving lights from my half-decorated fireplace downstairs cast colorful shadows across my face. 7 years of carrying everyone's expectations, their comfort, their tradition. My feet move with purpose now. Down the stairs to my bedroom. The suitcase under my bed slides out easily. The good one. The one I bought for a trip to Asia that I canceled when Amelia needed help planning her baby shower. My phone buzzes. The family group chat explodes with messages. Where are you? The ham's overcooked. Mom's upset. Are you okay? This isn't like you, Nora. My fingers type out a message. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I've decided to enjoy mine. The delete button glows beneath my thumb. 7 years of trying to make everyone happy. 7 years of putting myself last. I open my laptop instead. The travel website loads, bright and inviting. Charleston, one-way ticket. Thanksgiving morning arrival. For the first time in 7 years. I choose myself. Would you have sent that text or disappeared without a word? Tell us in the comments what your first move would be after such a discovery. My suitcase lies open on the bed, a blank canvas waiting to be filled. For once, I don't reach for the beige sweater or the practical black slacks. Instead, my hands find the sapphire blouse I bought 6 months ago, tag still attached. The ruby silk pants my sister called too bold. The silver scarf I never dared to wear. The Thanksgiving tree blinks behind me, casting kaleidoscope shadows across my bedroom walls. Red, green, silver. Colors I've denied myself, always afraid of taking up too much space. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. Another family message. I don't look. Instead, I fold each bright piece with precision, building a rainbow of rebellion in my luggage. No more invisible clothes for invisible Nora. The Lyft app confirms my ride, 30 minutes. Time enough to write a note if I wanted to. Time enough to call Mom to smooth things over, like I always do. My fingers hover over the phone, muscle memory of a lifetime of making peace. Ah, but peace, at what price? I zip the suitcase with finality. The Thanksgiving tree lights reflect in my bedroom mirror, catching my eye. The woman staring back looks different, already spine straighter, chin higher. I turn them off and take my baggage, then leave the room. I am waiting for the lift in the kitchen. My phone stays on the kitchen counter when the lift arrives and we head off to the airport. The airport on Thanksgiving Eve splits people into two tribes. The frantic and the serene. Parents wrestling over stuffed bags, children crying over dropped gummies, teenagers rolling their eyes at both. But here I am, walking against the tide of holiday chaos, calm in my sapphire blouse, and quiet certainty. Solo Thanksgiving trip. The desk agent's smile holds no pity, just warm curiosity as she checks my ID. Yes, the word comes out stronger than I expect. She types, then looks up with a conspiratorial wink. Premium economy just had a cancellation. Happy Thanksgiving. The upgrade feels like a sign. Or maybe just the first gift I've received this season that doesn't come with strings attached. An hour later, on the plane, the couple next to me settles in with the comfortable synchronization of decades together. The woman, gray hair elegantly coiffed, notices my hands clenched in my lap. First time flying alone on Thanksgiving? She pulls a flask from her purse. Whiskey? I laugh, surprising myself. Is it that obvious? My dear, I've spent enough holidays alone to recognize the look. She pours a splash into my soda. But you know what? Those turned out to be some of my favorite Thanksgivings. I'm Margaret. This is Henry. We're headed to our favorite city. I'm Nora. I sip the spiked soda, warmth spreading through my chest, and Charleston is new for me. Oh, you must join us for pie tomorrow morning. Margaret pats my hand. No one should eat alone on Thanksgiving. Henry nods sagely. Unless they want to. That's the beauty of Charleston. You can be alone or surrounded, and nobody judges either way. Ugh. The flight attendant passes, slipping me an extra cookie with a knowing smile. Sometimes family isn't who you expect. A woman across the aisle leans over. I couldn't help overhearing. Left my toxic family 15 years ago. Best gift I ever gave myself. She straightens her elegant blazer. They'll either learn to value you or they won't. But you'll learn to value yourself, and that's what matters. The whiskey loosens something in my chest. Memories float up like bubbles in sparkling wine. Silas's annual "You make it look so easy, sis," while watching baseball instead of helping. Amelia arriving empty-handed to every holiday, but leaving with carefully packed leftovers in my good Tupperware, never returned. Dad praising my ham by comparing it to Mom's before she lost her touch. The pattern's so clear now. Family calling only when they needed something. A last-minute dog sitter, a forgotten anniversary rescue, a shoulder to cry on. But when was the last time anyone had asked about my life, my dreams, my needs? I just nod a bit embarrassedly, and 10 minutes later, I fall asleep. The stewardess's voice and the view brought me back to reality from my sleep. The plane descends as Thanksgiving morning dawns over Charleston. 30 minutes later, warm air hits my face as I exit the terminal, so different from Oregon's bitter cold. No snow here, but the air shimmers with possibility. I take a cab and arrive at the hotel 45 minutes later. My hotel rises from the historic district like a grande dame dressed in wrought iron lace. White holiday lights drape the balconies, dancing in the morning breeze, simple, elegant, nothing like my own overwrought decorations back home. Happy Thanksgiving, Sis Nora. The desk clerk's smile reaches her eyes. You're exactly where you should be. My throat tightens at her words. She hands me a room key with a small gift-wrapped package attached. Welcome to Charleston. We take care of our own here. The tears finally come as I unwrap a delicate bronze magnolia ornament, not the harsh sobs of last night's betrayal, but gentle drops of release. Later, I skip the hotel's offered car service. These streets deserve to be walked, claimed at my own pace. A vendor sells bright scarves from a cart on the corner, calling out, "Good morning, Queen," as I pass. I stop, finger the sapphire silk, the same color as my blouse. This one has your name on it, he says, draping it around my shoulders. The mirror he holds up shows a woman I barely recognize. Head high, shoulders back, a queen indeed. Rainbow Row appears like a mirage in front of me through the morning mists. For the first time in my adult life, I sit alone at a cafe table without pulling out my phone, without a book for cuppa, without apology. What can I get you, darling? The waitress's pen hovers over her pad. Everything I want, I answer and mean it. My phone buzzes in my purse as I savor the last buttery bite of scone 45 minutes later. 30 missed calls, a string of voicemails from mom, their tone shifting from confusion to alarm to anger. A text from Amelia. Where are you? The food is terrible and dad's having a fit. Silas's message lands like a brick. Are you having some kind of breakdown? They're not worried about me, I realize. They're worried about their ruined Thanksgiving, about the tasks left undone, the roles left unfilled, about the empty space where their reliable Nora should be, smoothing feathers and filling gaps. I pay the bill, stroll around the city a bit longer, and go back to the hotel. Later that evening, the folk music from King Street floats up to my hotel balcony. As evening falls, Thanksgiving lights twinkle below, a constellation of earthbound stars. My thumb hovers over the block contact button next to the family group chat. A new message appears from Great Aunt. They don't know what they've done, do they? Be well, my girl. The historic district glows golden in the fading light. In that moment, I understand the betrayal wasn't just about Thanksgiving. It was about seeing my true value for the first time. The next morning, after the Thanksgiving breakfast, I want to visit the church. The bells of St. Philip's Church ring through the crisp morning air, their song mingling with a bluegrass rendition of Come, ye thankful people, come floating up from King Street. My first Thanksgiving morning alone stretches before me like an unwritten page. Meeting Street sparkles with simple white lights strung between wrought iron balconies. No inflatable turkeys, no synchronized music shows, just the quiet dignity of a city that knows its own worth. A fiddler on the corner catches my eye and tips his hat, his fiddle gleaming in the early sunlight. The familiar hymn transforms into something new in his hands, each note carrying the weight of generations. My feet carry me toward the church doors without conscious thought. Inside, the air hangs heavy with incense and history. No one here knows I should be in Oregon orchestrating the perfect family breakfast. No one knows I'm the daughter who always remembers everyone's dietary restrictions, the sister who never forgets a birthday, the aunt who coordinates all the presents. Here, I'm just another soul seeking sanctuary on Thanksgiving morning. Welcome, child. An elderly usher presses a program into my hand, her smile warm and uncomplicated. No questions about why I'm alone, no pitying glances, just welcome. The wooden pew creaks as I sit, and for the first time in 7 years, I don't have to worry about saving seats or managing personalities or mediating tensions. The freedom of anonymity wraps around me like a blanket. First time in Charleston? The whisper comes from my left, where a woman about my mother's age sits, clutching a well-worn prayer book. Her silver hair catches the light from the stained glass windows. Is it that obvious? The words slip out before I can stop them, only because you're actually listening to the music instead of treating it like background noise. She extends her hand. I'm Eleanor. My kids are at their in-laws this year. Nora. The name feels different here. Lighter, somehow. I'm taking a different approach to Thanksgiving this year. Eleanor's knowing smile tells me she hears everything I'm not saying. Best decision I ever made was spending Thanksgiving in Charleston 12 years ago. Sometimes you have to break tradition to find yourself. The service ends, but our conversation doesn't. Over coffee at the Daily 3 hours later, Eleanor's story spills out between bites of croissant. Her children's gradual drift toward their spouses' families, the subtle exclusions, the painful realization that holding on too tight only speeds the inevitable letting go. Join us for brunch, she says, gesturing to a group of similarly untethered souls gathering at a corner table. We're all refugees from someone else's Thanksgiving. The waiter appears with a bottle of sparkling wine, uncorked with a flourish. On the house, he announces, winking. To chosen family this Thanksgiving. My phone buzzes in my purse again. The screen lights up with familiar names: Dad, Mom, Amelia, Silas. The texts pile up like rain. This behavior is extremely disappointing, Nora. Dad's message glows with righteous indignation. The kids keep asking where Aunt Nora is. How am I supposed to explain this to them? Amelia, master of the guilt trip. You're ruining Thanksgiving for everyone. Is this what you wanted? Mom, ever dramatic. Is this about your job change last year? We're worried about you, sis. Silas's concern drips with condescension. The old Nora would have responded immediately, smoothing ruffled feathers, accepting blame, promising to make it right. Instead, I silence the phone and slip it back into my purse. Later, watching an artist capture the afternoon light in Waterfront Park, Eleanor's question catches me off guard. How long have you been carrying them all? The truth rises to my lips before I can filter it. Since I was 10. Mom was overwhelmed, dad was distant, and somebody had to hold everything together. The words tumble out, years of unspoken burden finding voice at last. I thought if I just worked harder, planned better, gave more, they'd finally... My voice catches. See you, Eleanor finishes softly. Yes. The simple admission brings unshed tears. You know what the hardest thing about setting down a heavy load is? Eleanor pats my hand. Realizing you never had to carry it in the first place. I'm not responsible for their happiness. The words feel foreign on my tongue, terrifying and liberating all at once. The artist looks up from his easel, brush paused mid-stroke. Hold that expression, he says. I paint people in moments of truth, and darling, you're having one right now. An hour later, in my hotel room, my phone chimes with a text notification, but for once, I don't reach for it. Instead, I walk into the Charleston Culinary Academy and sign up for a 3-day cooking class. I make dinner reservations at Husk for one, no apologies. Blues Club tickets through New Year's Eve land in my email, each one a promise to myself. The call to my office takes less than 10 minutes. Family emergency, I say, which isn't exactly a lie. I need another week. For once, I don't offer elaborate explanations or backup plans. That night, scrolling through photos on my phone, I see my family's faces differently. The images that once inspired guilt now feel like documentation of a pattern I'm finally breaking free from. One by one, I delete the photos that don't bring joy, keeping only the genuine moments. Dad teaching me to ride a bike, Mom and me gardening late at night, Amelia's new job celebration, Silas's kids playing in my garden. My thumb hovers over the family group chat. The message forms slowly, each word carefully chosen. I'm safe and well. I've taken some time for myself this Thanksgiving. I'll be in touch when I return. The responses flood in immediately, a cascade of demands and guilt and concern. With steady fingers, I press the mute button. Too tired to respond, I fall asleep. Morning brings a knock at my hotel room door. The desk clerk hands me a small package. Overnight delivery. Inside, nestled in tissue paper, lies my great-aunt's Thanksgiving pendant, the one she wore to every holiday gathering for 50 years. The note beneath it, written in her firm hand, makes me catch my breath. I left my family for 4 months when I was your age. Best decision I ever made. They'll learn. Love, great aunt. I didn't expect this gift, but when she asked me where I was staying that night, she texted me. I should have guessed. My fingers trace the delicate bronze curves of the pendant, and something shifts inside me. This isn't rebellion, it's inheritance. The strength to choose myself doesn't come from anger or defiance, but from a long line of women who finally learned to tell the truth. Love shouldn't cost you yourself. Thanks, great aunt, I say to myself. The next day at the cooking class, the steam rises from the roux as I stir, my wrist moving in the figure-8 motion Chef Marcel had demonstrated. The familiar scent of butter and flour transforms into something richer, darker, like my mother's stuffing, but with possibilities I'd never considered. Stop! Chef Marcel's voice carries across the kitchen. Look at what you've done, Nora! My spoon freezes mid-stroke. The roux has turned the color of amber honey, deep and complex. Perfect instinct, he bends to examine my work. You've been cooking for others too long. Time to cook for yourself, Nan? A laugh bubbles up from somewhere deep inside me. Not the polite chuckle I usually offered when complimented, but something real and bright that echoes off the steel countertop. Nay. I meet Eleanor after the class is over. Her voice carries from the next station over. Save some of that joy for tonight's gathering. Her holiday crew, as Eleanor calls their little group, has fallen into an evening ritual at the hotel's courtyard. 5 women who've chosen solitude over obligation this Thanksgiving, something they'd done purely for themselves that day. The historic district has wrapped itself around me like a familiar shawl. Shop owners nod as I pass, calling out greetings. Morning, Miss Nora from the tea shop owner. Those earrings suit you, from the vintage jeweler who'd sold them to me yesterday. My phone buzzes. Amelia's name lights up the screen, along with a voicemail notification. My finger hovers over the delete button, but Chef Marcel's words about instinct echo in my mind. I press play. It's been awful without you. Amelia's voice cracks. The ham was so dry. Nobody remembered which presents went to which kids. Mom keeps crying in the bathroom. I did 3 more messages followed. My mother confessing the carrot souffle had burned. My father's gruff attempt at reconciliation. Your sister just doesn't have your touch, honey. Silas admitting his boys had fought over dessert. No one knowing how to mediate like I always did. A text from great aunt makes me smile. They're learning what you actually did all these years. About time. At another class the next day, the amber-colored roux bubbles, demanding attention. I add the trinity of vegetables, the sharp knife work I learned in yesterday's class, making quick work of the onions, celery, and bell peppers. No tears this time. Another small victory. Later that evening at my room, when my phone displays Great Aunt's familiar contact photo, I answer on the first ring. You sound different, Great Aunt says instead of hello. I am different. Good. Now tell me what you need to say. The words come easier than I expected. It wasn't about the party. They could have asked me, talked to me. Instead, they just took. Like always. They took you for granted because you let them, sweetheart. Great Aunt's voice holds no judgment, only understanding. Sometimes love needs teeth. I touch the pendant pinned to my blouse. Great Aunt's Thanksgiving gift. I'm not ready to talk to them yet. Then don't. And she hangs up. My phone chimes with a group message. Amelia again. We're booking flights to Charleston. All of us. We'll make it right. My fingers move across the screen, typing with a certainty that surprises me. I'll see you when I return as planned. But we want to make it up to you. Amelia's response comes instantly. This time is mine. Please respect that. The silence that follows feels like victory. Walking past a shop window later that night, I catch my reflection and stop. The woman looking back stands straighter, her shoulders relaxed instead of braced for everyone else's burdens. The sapphire scarf I bought my first day here blazes against my white blouse. Great Aunt's pendant catching the afternoon light. You've changed. The street artist who sketched me last week nods toward his easel. Look, 2 sketches sit side by side. The first shows a woman wound tight as a spring, smile careful, eyes searching for approval. The second, today's, captures something else, something free. I'll take them both, I say, reaching for my wallet. That evening, curled in the hotel's wrought iron chair, I open my laptop. The confirmation for my Memorial Day flight to Savannah next year appears in my inbox. Another family gathering I'd always organized. Not again. My journal lies open beside me, pages filled with clear, firm boundaries. Another dinner with Eleanor, who lives closer than I'd realized. A cooking class I might host, not out of obligation, but joy. Ground rules for future family events. I write in careful letters, gifts freely given, not taken for granted. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzes with my return flight confirmation. 3 days until I face my old life with my new boundaries. Eleanor's words from dinner echo in my mind. Remember, you are the one who sets the price of admission to your life. Fans cheer Nora's courageous transformation. inspired to share their own stories of redefining family ties. The Thanksgiving tree lights catch Great Aunt's pennant as Nora pins it to her dress. Tiny stars of light dance across the ceiling, so different from last year's half-decorated fireplace and cold, abandoned feast. Great Aunt takes her hand, her grip still strong despite her years. "Freedom looks good on you," she murmurs, and Nora squeezes back. A year ago, she sat alone in Charleston, learning to choose herself. Tonight, she stands surrounded by family who finally understand that love isn't measured in sacrifice. The greatest gift wasn't the one she gave herself last Thanksgiving when she walked away. It was the permission to keep choosing herself every day since. Looking around her full living room, Nora knows the truth. She isn't the same woman who fled last Thanksgiving Eve, and she never will be again. But more importantly, neither is her family. They've all learned that the price of admission to someone's life isn't paid in demands or expectations, but in respect, reciprocity, and the courage to change. Have you ever had to step away, like Nora, to make your family see your worth? Share your story below and join others celebrating resilience. Follow for more heartfelt tales.